Welcome back to another video, and today we got our Week 11 NFL game predictions, and we're doing these videos every single Tuesday now. It used to be Wednesdays, we're switching it over to Tuesdays, which means tomorrow on Wednesdays now will be the college football top 25 rankings. Along with those two videos, we do college basketball Power 40 rankings every Monday and NBA content every Thursday, as well as some MLB content in when that season is rolling. So if any of that interests you, make sure you go on there, subscribe, hit the noties to make sure you don't miss whenever we upload. Because as of right now, we're uploading 4 times a week, so this is definitely the place to be. Yeah, just make sure if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. But moving on, right on in to our standings, and as of right now, I'm still in the lead. I got a 6 point lead over second place, a 7 point lead over third place, and fourth place is right there as well. And then we got a couple guys, on the back end struggling. But I will say I've won this the past 3 years. I'm looking for the four-peat this year. And as of right now, I got a 6 game lead. It was 7 last week, so I did lose it a little. But still up 6 games here, so pretty comfortable for me. When looking at the Thursday night game this week, it's going to be the Washington Commanders taking on the Eagles, Jayden Daniels versus Jalen Hurts. Very interesting matchup. Both these teams are fighting for that top spot in the NFC East right now, the 7-3 Commanders and the 7-2 Eagles. The difference here is Jayden Daniels didn't look all that great last week. They did end up losing to the Steelers. I think they lose again. I think the Eagles are just too much here. I mean, the Eagles look really, really solid. I know the Eagles, you look at them, they've had a lot of close games, but they did just blow out the Cowboys. I know they were with Cooper Rush, but the Eagles have some pretty good wins. I mean, they blew out the Bengals earlier this year, or a couple weeks ago. So I think the Eagles have kind of figured things out. I mean, you can see this. They're 7-2. They should be a playoff team. And I just trust them a little bit more than the Commanders. They're a little bit more old, veteran. And they get this one at home here in primetime. They're 3.5 point favorites. I'm not going to go ahead and fade that. I'll go ahead and take Philly in this one. Moving on, though, to our first Sunday game on the slate. And it's going to be the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. The Bears have finally fired Shane Waldron, their offensive coordinator. It's about time. As a Bears fan, it's very frustrating to watch. I mean, the fact that we got blown out by the Patriots last week is just embarrassing. We haven't scored a touchdown in over 2 games. It is just not a good look to be a Bears fan right now. And it really just pains me to say this, but I got to go with the Packers. I know it sucks, but realistically, the Packers are going to win here. They're 6.5 point favorites. And it really sucks that everybody's on the Packers here. Because I thought as a Bears fan, the future was only going to get better. We had a great road ahead. I mean, there still is that hope with Caleb Williams. But I think next Eberflus might be gone here soon. But there's no way I'm predicting the Bears to win this game, even at home. I'll go ahead and take the Packers. Jordan Love looks really good. The whole offense. When Jordan Love's healthy, this team is very tough to beat. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers. I think coming off the bye, they'll be well rested and much healthier here. And the Bears just look atrocious right now. The 2-8 Jaguars versus the 8-1 Lions. I think this one kind of sums itself up just off the records. The Lions also get it at home. They are 13-point favorites. By far the heaviest favorite this week. And yeah, I mean, if the Jags win this game, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to go ahead and take the Lions pretty easily here. I mean, this is the best offense in the league, arguably the best team in the league. The defense looks elite as well. Zadarius Smith, I do believe, will make his Lions debut in this game. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if he plays. I mean, it might be Mac Jones, and that might be an even bigger of a win for the Lions if Mac Jones plays. Even with Trevor Lawrence, I think the Lions win pretty easily here. There's just not much going for the Jaguars right now, and there's a lot going for the Lions, so I'll take the Lions at home here. Not going to go against a 13-point favorite. Moving on, though, we got 2 on the Titans here. Kind of surprising. 7-2 versus 2-7. You wouldn't necessarily expect to see this. I'm going to go ahead and not overthink this, and I'm going to take the Vikings. I mean, this seems like a pretty easy. They're 6-point favorites on the road. They're 7-2. The Titans are 2-7. Justin Jefferson is coming off a little bit of a slow performance, and last week, really the whole team. I mean, Sam Darnold didn't look great. They did end up winning 12-7 over the Jaguars. I mean, at least this defense is elite. The offense has slowed down though in the past 2 games. Actually, really in the past 3 games. Um, so I think this could be a bounce back game here for the Vikings to get back on track offensively. I'll go ahead and take Minnesota here. Um, Once again, all of the NFC North wins except for the Bears. It's tough, very tough to be a Bears fan. But now looking at this game, the Raiders take on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are coming off a much needed win Monday night against the Rams yesterday. And, I think that's really, they needed that. They got it. They had to get some winning back in the locker room. He's going to be one more week removed from that injury, coming off that injury. Tyreek Hill and really is yet to make that jump, and return with Tua coming back. Maybe this is the game where they do it. I could see it. The Dolphins are favored by 7.5 at home. I think they get another much needed win and try to fight their way back into the playoff discussion. Because as of right now at 3-6, they're not quite there. But I do think they could ultimately return to that discussion. But they're going to need to start picking up some wins. I think this game couldn't come at a better time, so I'm going to take the Dolphins here. The Rams versus the Patriots. This one seems like another pretty easy one for me. The Rams are 5-point favorites. I'm going to go ahead and take them with the offense being healthy. Stafford, Puka, Kupp, Kyron. I mean, it's a very loaded offense. The defense still does worry me a little bit. But like I said, this offense is one of the better ones in the league, and I think against the Patriots, they should have no problems here scoring. I mean, they did hold the Bears to 3 points, but the Bears might be the worst offense in the league. So, the Rams will be fine. I think there's no way the Patriots win 2 games in a row, so I'll go ahead and take Los Angeles here, even with it being on the road. The Browns versus Saints. This is an interesting one. Everybody's on the Browns here, and this is kind of a 50-50 game for me. I mean, the spread's actually saying that the Saints are favored by 1.5. It's tied for the closest spread of the week, so it's essentially a pick'em game here. I'll go ahead and take the home team here. I really don't have any reason to be doing this. Obviously, Olave's out for 4 weeks at least. Rashid Shaheed's out for the year. They still got Kamara, but besides that, there's not much left on this offense. But the Browns they bring Jamison. He looked good in his first game, but they only put up 10 points last week. They only put up 10 points coming before the bye. Last week they were on bye. I guess I'll go ahead and take the Saints here at home. I mean, it's pretty much a 50-50 game. I'll go ahead and take the home team. Why not? We'll have some fun. I'll go against everyone here. I was surprised to see this. This was 2 bad teams. I thought probably going to be split here, but no, everybody's on the Browns. So I'll go ahead and take the favorite at home. Sure, why not? Give me the Saints here. The Colts versus the Jets. 2 teams where, the Colts don't look great. Joe Flacco had a terrible game last week against, I believe they played the Bills. The Jets, I mean, I don't know what to say about the Jets. I mean, they're 3-7. I mean, I don't know what else you got to do. You bring in Devontae Adams before the trade deadline, thinking, okay, the offense, we're gonna ramp things up here. We're going to go all in. And last week, they just lay an absolute stinker against the Cardinals, get blown out 31-6. I mean, they have the talent there on offense. I mean, at this point, they fired their head coach as well. It's got to be on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he hasn't really played all that great. I don't know what else to blame it on. The defense is still pretty good. I really don't know. I mean, the defense probably has taken a step back from what it was last year, but I mean, it's still a one of the better defenses in the league. You got Sauce Gardner. I mean, you got a very good D line. I don't know what it is. I'll take the Jets, but if they lose this one, it might be time to stop believing in the Jets because at this point, I mean, it just looks like an absolute train wreck. The Ravens versus Steelers. This is a huge game. 7-3 versus 7-2. The Steelers actually are still in the lead of the AFC North. Can the Ravens take that from them? I would love to. I would have loved to see this game in prime time. It is a noon game, so that is always fun when you see that. And then, I mean, I guess the primetime games this week aren't terrible, but I would have loved to see this one in prime time. But here we are. It's a noon game. And yeah, looking at this one, I mean, I really could see the Steelers winning. I mean, I thought this one would also be a little bit more split. I'm going to take the Ravens. I'm not going to go against everybody here two times. I mean, this one I feel a little bit more confident about the Ravens winning. I mean, I think it's about time. The Ravens have looked like one of the best teams in the league. I think it's time they take the division back from the Steelers. This is a rivalry game, though. We do typically see these two split, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers got it done at home. But with the way the Ravens are playing right now, Lamar Jackson playing at an MVP level, he might win his third MVP this year. Derrick Henry is probably on pace to win Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, this offense is one of the best in the league. Probably the second best behind the Lions, in my opinion. The defense has definitely taken a step down. And the Steelers, Russell Wilson, he's brought some new life into them. I mean, I was clowning them. He's 3-0 as the starter right now in Pittsburgh. And the defense still looks good. So this is two very good teams, two playoff teams in my eyes, the way they're both playing. This could be a very high-scoring game. I'm going to trust the team that I believe and think has the better offense. I'll take the Ravens, even with it being on the road against a good team. But moving on into the afternoon games, the Atlanta Falcons coming off a disappointing loss last week against the Saints, 20-17. They play the Broncos on the road. It's never easy to do that with the altitude. The Broncos nearly beat the Chiefs. I mean, if it wasn't for that blocked field goal at the end, they would have beaten them. Bo Nix is looking really good. He's showing a lot what he can do through the air on the ground. The defense looks like one of the best in the league. The Broncos, believe it or not, are favored by 2.5 in this game. I'm going to go ahead and take the Falcons. I think the Falcons need this one. But I could definitely see I mean, this is a pretty 50-50 game as well. I could definitely see the Broncos pulling this out. But I'm going to take the Falcons. I think they're a little bit more talented here. Drake London's going to get healthier. He's been dealing with an injury, a lingering injury. Bijan's really turned around his season. He's been phenomenal the past couple weeks. I will take the Falcons here, but again, I could definitely see this one going either way. Moving on over to our next game, it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks going to San Fran to take on the Niners, a 4-5 team versus a 5-4 team. But I think the Niners with CMC coming back, I mean, he was playing a little bit of a limited role and still looked very good in his first game back after not playing the whole season. I think he's going to expand his role. I think, with the receivers, Juwan Jennings being healthy now, Debo continuing to get healthier, Kittle still doing his thing. I think this Niners team is really coming around. They're getting healthy when it matters most. They're getting healthy at the right time. So I'll go ahead and take them here at home to go ahead and beat the Seahawks, who are kind of fading right now out of the playoff picture. We'll see if they can bounce back. But I think this week against the Niners on the road could be a tough one. This is arguably the game of the week. I mean, it probably is. I mean, there's a lot of good games this week, though. But a 9-0 team versus an 8-2 team. Yes, you had this Ravens Steelers 7-3 versus 7-2. You had the Commanders Eagles with the same thing. But I think this is probably the game of the week. I mean, it's an afternoon game in Buffalo. The Bills, believe it or not, are 2.5-point favorites over the Chiefs, and we actually have the majority on the Bills. Was not expecting to see this. My thought process was a majority were going to go on the Chiefs. Some people probably take the Bills. But I've been thinking about this whole week. I was going to go ahead and take the Bills at home. I think there's no way the Chiefs go undefeated this year. I mean, they've been squeaking by in pretty much the majority of their games this year. I mean, they're a defensive team. Offensively, if it gets into, the high 20s, I don't know if they can necessarily score enough. I think this is a matchup where the Bills actually have the advantage. I think they go ahead and get it done over the Chiefs at home. Because, I mean, you got to think about it this way: the Chiefs are going to lose eventually. This seems like a perfect game for them to drop one. I mean, it's not really dropping one. It's an 8-2 team, one of the best teams in the league. If there's any game for the Chiefs to lose, it'll be this one. Now, I'm not saying they're going to get blown out. I think it's going to be a very close game. There's a reason the Bills are only 2.5-point favorites, but I'll go ahead and take the Bills to win over Kansas City there. But the Sunday night game this week, pretty huge game here for the Bengals, because if they lose this one, the playoffs are almost all but out of reach. I mean, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are having a crazy season as a duo there. I mean, Jamar Chase is looking like statistically the best receiver in the league. Joe Burrow's looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the league statistically. But they're not getting the wins. They're 4-6. I mean, they narrowly lost last week to the Ravens once again. I mean, the Bengals have had a tough schedule, and it does ease up, here in the back half of the season. I think on the road against the Chargers actually favored by 1.5, but that's pretty much a pick'em game. I'll go ahead and take the Bengals because I think this is just a must-win game. But the Chargers, I will say, at 6-3, they have been very impressive and exceeding my expectations. Just goes to show how good of a coach Harbaugh is, I guess, because this team on paper should not be 6-3, at least in my eyes. Chargers fans may say otherwise. I mean, there really isn't very many of them, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Bengals. I just think this is a must-win game, and I think they finally, maybe get their break, and I think they win. Again, this one could be either way. And then the Monday night game, this is a little bit of a disappointing one because this would have been a very good game. But with Dak Prescott being out for the year, I mean, this Cowboys offense is just very limited. We saw it last week against the Eagles. They only put up 6 points. I mean, Cooper Rush is just not going to put up enough points here to beat the Texans. So I'll go ahead and take the Texans, even with it being on the road in a primetime game. Yes, CJ Stroud has not been, very good this year. I mean, he's shown a lot of. I mean, I don't know. He really hasn't shown much progression from his season last year. I mean, he did have one of the best rookie seasons of all time, but he has kind of struggled this year so far. But I think in this game he should be fine. Yes, the Cowboys' defense with Micah Parsons is much better, but I think, either I still just don't trust this Cowboys offense led by Cooper Rush. So I think that's enough for me to go ahead and take the Texans. I mean, you don't see this. They're 7.5-point favorites on the road in prime time. I think that goes to show you the Texans are a pretty easy pick to win this one. But that is going to do it for the Week 11 NFL game predictions. These are going to be every Tuesday night now. Changing it on you. I'm sorry about that. But you can expect tomorrow college football top 25 rankings. Those will be every Wednesday now. College basketball Power 40 rankings will be every Monday. That'll stay the same. NBA videos every Thursday. That'll stay the same. And then MLB content we also do when that season is going. So if any of that interests you, make sure you go down there, subscribe, hit the noties, and like this video if you enjoy. Comment below what you think, what you agree, what you disagree. Love to talk down there. Links in the description. As always, X, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Make sure you follow those and join those. But with all that being said, that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with our college football top 25 rankings.